Okay, everybody, I wasn't even gonna make this video. I'm literally here at the office doing a bunch of other stuff, but I honest to God was looking at the comments to the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 crash video where we had our giveaway winner come out and he unfortunately crashed the bike. And I was looking at the comments and I was like, I need to make this video. I literally need to make this video responding to these comments because the amount of misinformation that is in the comment section for that video is literally crazy. There's like 600 comments on that video. Probably half of them are people who have never ridden before, have no idea how to operate a motorcycle, and have no idea why motorcycles crash. So in today's video, we're gonna look through in slow motion, like freaking Dan the Fireman style, which Dan, if you're watching this video, please grab the clip and respond to it and you tell me what happened in this video because I think you're gonna have the exact same opinion as I did. We're going to watch the video again in slow motion. I'm going to dispel the myths around the tires on the motorcycle because that was the biggest thing I saw in the comment section was, oh my God, the tires were bad. The tires this, the tires that. I'm going to show you guys why the tires played a pretty insignificant part in the reason why Isaiah went down. Obviously, the tires are the only thing on the ground contacting the motorcycle to the ground, but the quality of the tires and the heat cycles, oh my God, heat cycles was something I saw in the video as well too. It played a pretty small part, and I'm also going to dispel some other myths too. So let's watch the video back in slow motion. I'm going to walk you guys through everything with that, and let's just get into it. Let's do this. All right, guys, here we go. We're watching the video again. We're going to watch it in full speed, and then we're going to watch it in slow speed, and we'll go through it, okay? Okay. Hard to watch. I still feel so bad for Isaiah, which, by the way, I didn't force him to go on this ride. We had a really nice time together. People, man, y'all got it twisted so bad in the comments. This was just a really unfortunate thing that happened. So let's watch this back in slow motion. I'm going to hit the playback here in slow speed. And I'm going to show you guys something. Watch Isaiah's throttle hand here, okay? Watch what he's doing. We're approaching a bend. We're a little bit in the middle of the road, but honestly, that's not as big of a deal as the throttle hand, okay, guys? Throttle is the most important thing on the motorcycle. So we're riding slow because we're in slow speed on VLC here. We have constant throttle. We've started to lean the motorcycle, okay? We're in the middle of the road, not ideal for grip, but still not a big deal. You could still negotiate this turn in the middle of the corner if you were practicing proper technique. But we're now noticing that the turn is coming and we're still on the throttle and we've started to add lean angle. Right here, you've asked for more lean angle at the same amount of throttle. So what's going to happen? Your front tire doesn't have any load into it. If your front tire doesn't have any load or the proper contact patch, you don't have the right amount of grip on there. Now, if this was a normal day and there was, dry grip conditions, he might have been able to make this corner. But because Isaiah is riding in wet weather, there's less points of grip, okay? If you think about a tire, you have maybe 100 points of available grip at any given amount of time. When it's wet or you're in gravel or dirt, those available points come down, okay? You couple that with the bad technique, unfortunately, of constant throttle and tipping the bike in, you have the weight further back because even though you're at constant acceleration, the motorcycle's weight is going back into the rear tire, okay? So the front tire is unloaded. And you'll see what happens here. As Isaiah tips it in, okay, sorry, I have to do another small point. People in the comments said that he wasn't countersteering. Guys, a motorcycle naturally countersteers. You cannot steer a motorcycle by not countersteering. It just happens naturally. That's how they turn. Isaiah didn't crank, there's no way he didn't do that. Okay, so we watch here. The bike's already gone here, basically. So you see that the front has given out because the handlebars turn. That's where you see this front happen right there. Isaiah lost the front here because he didn't have enough load into the front tire and he didn't have the proper weight pushed forward into it. So let's watch that again in slow motion, uninterrupted. You guys tell me. Look what happened here. and the front gives out. It's very simple to see what happens here. It's not a fact of the tires, because I'm about to tell you guys why the tires had almost nothing to do with it, and this was bad rider input, unfortunately. And then wet weather conditions, you have lower grip available to you when you're practicing bad rider inputs like that, right? You've asked too much of the tires at that point. You've maintained throttle, you've turned in. Let's say you have 70 points of grip available to you standing straight upright. If you lean it in and you've added throttle, you're still adding throttle, you're spinning that tire, right? And you have the front being underloaded, the bike's going to slip out. It's pretty straightforward. There's no magical thing about the tires not being good. I didn't ruin the tires by taking them to a track day, which is, oh my God, I saw that so much in the comment section. It drove me completely nuts. So that's something I really want to talk about really quick. I want to point out this fact here, okay? I actually found this on a forum, and I will let you know the only reason I am using this on a forum. This was provided to us by Mr. Dylan Code. If you don't know, Dylan Code is the son of Keith Code, who runs the California Superbike School. So I think he knows a little bit about how motorcycle dynamics work. And he said this: do tires heat cycle? Yes. Is this the most important factor in tires? No. In fact, it is not very significant and very overemphasized. A lot of people in the comments said that I ruined the tires by taking them to the track and that I had all these heat cycles in them and I somehow made the tires not operate correctly. Guys, the tires had less than 600 miles on them. They had plenty of tread, plenty of grip. You don't ruin tires by taking them to the track. You just simply use up more rubber and the tires can still work. He says, certainly making a tire go from 250 degree to negative 10 degree over and over is not the best thing you can do, but consider that placing it on a warmer for 190 degrees for 8 hours is not any better either. We all hear about heat cycle, but almost never do we hear about the thickness of the tire or tread depth / wear. Fact. The thicker the tread rubber, the more grip. The thinner the tread rubber, the less grip. So as you ride on the tire session after session, the rubber is getting thinner and there's less and less grip. Often this is mistaken for heat cycle, and the rider now places his attention on warmers and not the real important factor of how much tread rubber is left on the tire. Again, guys, I took the Royal Enfield out on track for maybe 3 sessions. The bike had less than 600 miles on it. The tires were completely fine. You can ride a tire like that in wet conditions completely safely. I rode the Royal Enfield many times after riding it on track, and I never noticed a lack of grip. We had everything set up really, really well. I even checked the tire PSI before we went out on a ride because I knew it was colder. I really went through all the safety precautions with Isaiah. So Dylan also says, you might have a very small decrease in grip or life, but that would be very small and most likely not noticeable over the 1 to 5 track days you will get out of the tires. You would be splitting hairs on the performance level of tire life with or without warmers, even if you were to do back-to-back tests. You would find that in just 1 session in the life of the tire, you went 5 seconds faster, but that would make more of a difference than heat cycling because you used more tread rubber in that session. Heat cycles are not a total myth, but they do not make as big a difference as the internet would leave you to believe. So I just wanted to dispel that myth that the heat cycles or the track day thing that I did with the Royal Enfield caused this to crash. I also wanted to point out that this is the specific tire that was on the Royal Enfield. It's the Zoom Cruise tire. Excuse me here. It's the Zoom Cruise tire over here. And this is an all-weather tire, guys. This tire is designed with grooves. You can see here, it has grooves. It has siping. There's no reason this tire is not going to operate in wet weather. It's not like you're on ice or anything like that. You're not riding a motorcycle with literally zero grip. This motorcycle definitely had enough grip to negotiate that turn. Again, it was bad rider input. And I just want to point out this one comment over here because it was just absolutely bonkers. This person said, so after doing a bit more research, tracking a soft street compound tire like this, first of all, that tire is nowhere near soft. That is a hard as balls street tire. So I don't know what you're talking about that the Royal Enfield has soft, sticky rubber on it because it absolutely doesn't. It says pulls oil to the edge, that blue-purple stuff, and makes it more hard, making it harder to get to temp. The oils coming out of the tire do not change the hardness of the compound of the tire. That makes literally no sense. And then this person goes off on some crazy diatribe about how the heat cycling and how I broken the tires at the track ruined the bike and the tires, which is just absolutely crazy. That's not what happened at all. This other person brought out the freaking mu coefficients of friction. This guy's talking about, I don't see how maintaining low power, middle of the rev range, no acceleration would cause such a low side. And that's where you're wrong. You're wrong because there is acceleration. If you have a constant throttle and you add lean angle, you are asking more of the tire in lower wet grip conditions. I don't understand how people can't see how obvious it is of what happened here, and it really makes me nervous and worried for newer riders that you guys can't see what happened, and that's why I felt like I needed to make this video and explain to you guys what the heck happened with Isaiah's crash. And I didn't mean to make a follow-up video like this, but honestly, this really got to me that so many people misunderstood what happened here. And I just want to point it out one more time. Let's watch the video again, and we can very clearly see. We'll watch it in real time now, so you guys can hear it too, right? The important thing is listen to what the throttle is doing. Isaiah never lets off the gas or onto the brakes to load the front tire when going into the corner. You're going into the corner with the front tire that's underloaded. You're going to lose grip. So watch this. Listen to Isaiah's throttle. I don't know, guys. To me, as an experienced motorcyclist, it is very obvious what happened here, and I hope that this video sheds some light on what happens in these situations. It's really important to be able to learn from your mistakes, and that was the first thing that Isaiah and I did when we got back. I loaded up his footage, we pulled it up on the TV, and I looked at him, and I looked at the footage, and I was like, do you understand what happened here? Do you see what happened? And for me as an experienced rider, it was very obvious when I saw this footage of what happened. Constant throttle, adding lean angle, front tire underloaded, they lose grip, bike slides out. It has nothing to do with the tire. It has nothing to do with the heat cycles of the tire. It has nothing to do with the friction coefficients. It has very little to do with his lane positioning, although that might have contributed to some of it. It mostly has to do with the technique. And that's the hardest thing to admit to, right? It's the hardest thing to admit to when you crash a motorcycle, to admit to yourself, you did something wrong. You did not use the proper technique at the proper time. And that's a hard thing to admit to ourselves as riders, but Isaiah did a great job with me here in the studio identifying and looking at why this happened. So I hope this video shed some light on what happened. It was a little haphazard because I just really wanted to get this message out there because I think it's super important, and I hope you guys have learned something from today's video, and we'll be back to regular Yami Noob programming here by tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later. Keep watching Yami Noob.